What's up, everybody? We're sitting here with Wayne from King's Coast Coffee. We're gonna make an Achieve blend, a custom blend that we're gonna use our taste buds so that we can sell you a coffee that we would love to make. And Wayne's gonna help us out figuring out the mix.
Well, also to be an arbiter of quality, because we have shitty taste.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He's gonna like balance us out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brought in the big guns.
So thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Teaching us
Thanks
the
for
ways
having
of
me.
the coffee.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is fun. This is something we've kind of been working on for a little bit, and now we're actually down to the fun part of it,
Yeah.
where we actually get to create a custom roast for you guys.
So Wayne, what do you got going on
All
here?
right,
There's a lot of cool stuff here.
So we got a lot of gear over here. This is
Okay.
basically, we call this the King's Coast Roadshow. So anytime we custom blend coffee, there's a kind of like a protocol that we like to carry. I like to meet the guys, I talk to you, ask you about what type of coffee you like to drink, how you like to drink your coffee, how you're brewing it. So what we have here is from basically raw green coffee, which we have up top here,
Can I see one of those
to
little
roasted
pieces?
product.
Yeah,
I've never actually seen raw green
I don't have any
coffee
tweezers.
before.
So
I'll
here,
take-
I got a little sample tray. I'll show you guys
Oh,
what
look
we're
at that.
working
Okay.
with.
I'll put that little.
So this
This is what coffee
this is
looks
what
like.
coffee looks like.
Off the coffee tree.
Not
like-
directly off the tree, but this is what coffee looks like when we get our hands on it. So coffee is a fruit. It's a cherry. It grows on a tree. It's grown all across the world.
I didn't know coffee. I'm an
Yeah,
idiot. I've been drinking coffee for 43 years. I didn't know it was a fruit.
it's a fruit. So how it's handled, how it's grown, where it's grown, the elevation, the soil, the climate, the processing of once it's harvested and
eat it?
picked
I was
from the
gonna say, you wanna
tree.
eat it?
No, do not eat it.
Both of you guys ate it.
It hurt my mouth.
Yeah.
It hurt your mouth?
If it's in your,
In my mouth.
Crunch down.
no, it's
Crunch
very
it.
hard.
Snap or
Crunch it,
two.
baby.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Get in there. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm gonna put mine back.
Yeah, don't eat that.
Mine's not roasted
so
yet.
don't eat that.
Here's some we didn't prepare earlier. Put that away from you. Does it taase like coffee yet?
No.
Or is there a hint of what it could
No.
be?
No.
So,
None.
so what that is green coffee.
Okay.
It's basically, if anything you're gonna taste, if you could describe what a color tastes like, that's green. It's got
Yeah,
that like
it tastes-
very like.
That's what a
raw,
Achievement Hunter tastes like. Raw.
It's got
We
this
taste
raw,
terrible.
yeah.
Dude, it's not good.
No.
That's a lot of bad flavor in that tiny little
Right.
green bean.
So what we do
Okay.
is we then roast that coffee to bring out all the natural flavors, the oils, you're basically toasting these green products to make this. And now this is a finished coffee roast.
you wonder who the first person was like, this tastes like shit, let's burn it.
So
Ooh, that's smelling good now.
So the story goes actually, believe
these
it
are the
or
ones
not,
you eat.
These ones you
Crunch.
can eat. You can crunch these ones. There was a goat farmer in Ethiopia
Not good, but
whose goats were eating the fruit off the tree. And his goats were getting all hopped up and acting crazy. So he started eating the fruit and noticed he was getting a caffeine buzz
Oh, what
from
they're
it.
having.
Right. So let me try this. Apparently, the legend or the story goes, he then brought it to, he was they're Muslim, he brought it to his priest or whatever, and the priest said, this is an abomination, and threw it into the fire. And then it roasted the coffee. He then
Little
brewed a
did he
tea
know.
from that. That's how that's the story of how the first cup of coffee came about.
You're a classically trained chef.
Yes.
You worked in the food industry.
Yeah.
You were, and then had a life-changing cup of coffee. Was it in like the
yeah.
Dominican Republic?
Yeah,
or-
it was a Guatemalan.
Guatemala,
It was. I'll never forget it to this day. It was. I used to consume coffee. I was ingesting coffee.
Yeah.
I would just
You just knock it
grab
back.
it. Yeah, knock it
wake
back.
up,
Not think
do your
about
day.
it. And then I had his coffee, and it was a Guatemalan coffee. It was a honey process from Antigua, and he was just like. He's explaining it to me, but he's talking to me in a way that like I connected with because this is how I am about food.
Yeah.
He started explaining the science of it. It changed my whole perspective on coffee. And then the passion became like a little hobby that I started roasting at home with like a home countertop roaster, and partnered with a couple friends, and they tried the coffee and they're like, this is really good, we should sell this online. So that's how King's Coast came about.
Very
And-
similar to how we started making dumb cartoons, actually.
Yeah, it's like, it was just something you're passionate about, and you just say, all right, I'm gonna go for it. That's basically, green coffee, finished coffee. How do we get there from point A to point Z? Let's go actually roast a batch of coffee so you guys can kind of see the process of what happens as you take green coffee and get it to that. So we're going to preheat the roaster.
Yeah, it's so
iPad control.
Wait, are you controlling through the iPad?
Yes.
it's so cool to see something
right,
like this.
so-
It's like
It's taking off.
Dude, it's got a whole graph.
Yeah, so this is basically what they call a roasting profile. So the way it works is when you roast coffee,
Okay.
you could throw it in an oven and you could literally crank the gas up and get it as dark as possible, but it's not actually gonna have flavor. All you're gonna taste is char.
okay.
So with roasting coffee, there's kind of like this little dance that you're gonna do. And you're basically trying to cook the coffee to extract the most flavor from it without burning it.
Okay.
So what you wanna do is, it's on a graph. It's basically, you preheat your oven. We're gonna drop the coffee in, and then we're gonna slowly bring that coffee up to a finished temperature.
What's the preheat temperature?
For this roast, this is our medium blend. Our preheat temperature is about 410 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So that's our drop-in point. The coffee is room temperature, so once it goes into the chamber, you're gonna see the temperature gauge drop, and then eventually they're gonna level out, and then now we can start heating it.
So how hot does it get?
Our finishing temperature on this.
Is this a trade secret, by the way?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's out there.
I don't know. It's like people are just waiting to write
yeah,
down.
it's
the-
down to a half a degree.
450.
Yeah. So just to show you the comparison of roasting, with your blend that we're working on, we did a two-step roast process. We did a medium roast and we did a what we call a full city roast, where one is cooked to about 415 degrees for 10 minutes.
Okay.
The other one's cooked to 440 degrees for 10 minutes. So one's got a little bit quicker cook time, but we're a darker finishing temperature.
And that slight variance in temperature of 35 degrees, you'll notice that much of a difference in the flavor.
Yes, you're gonna get different tasting notes, what they call. All right, so now we're ready to roast. It's preheated.
That's
yes.
awesome.
It's really
So-
fantastic.
Put out the iPad app, lost my
Yeah.
mind.
So now we just drop that in, and then
Yeah.
Just twist it right in.
twist it.
I want to see I want to film what's going to happen down here.
This is
Wait.
the angle you're gonna want to
Oh,
see
I
right
want to get
now.
that angle in.
Yep, there you go. So that is green coffee. It is being roasted. Everything's being tracked on this graph, as you guys can watch. So that's giving us a reading of the temperature of the bean.
Yeah, the temperature is dropping.
Yep, the temperature of the drum.
Oh, well, we hit it.
Let them see.
It's going back up.
All right, so that is called turnaround point.
That was the turnaround
That's
point.
your turning point.
Okay.
So the beans and the
Oh, yeah.
drum, they've matched, and now the coffee is actually taking on heat.
Yeah, it dropped down to about 154 Celsius. Now
Yep.
it's back up to 195.
Yeah, so it's gonna start cooking up. Might get a little smoke
200!
coming in
Again,
here,
I
but
can see a little smoke.
Yeah, a little
Get a little
wafts.
smell, get a little scent.
I haven't even tasted this yet. I already don't want to look at Rooster Teeth anymore. I just want to do this.
There's two different graphs. There's
So is it grinding it down
red and
after
the
it
yellow
roasted?
graph.
What's happening
so
down here?
What you're seeing down here,
Residuals.
it's
and-
chaff.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's
there
the
is
draft.
there's like a
Separate
little bit of a
chaff.
skin on the coffee.
It's looking so. Oh, it's. I gotta film it
do we-
now. I gotta
do we
film
have an
every
angle
little
of that?
thing. Okay, here we go. I'm getting in there.
So that's flaking off of the bean. And then what's going to happen is as the beans start to cook, there's different stages of what happens to them. They call it first crack, and then there's second crack.
Okay.
So first crack is the bean itself has taken on so much heat that now it is starting to open up. And then the further you cook it, you'll get to second crack, where then it'll pop pretty much all the way open. It's like basically popping corn. So the blend that we did, we took one just past first crack and the other one just to second crack.
If you wanted to take it all the way, is there a third crack, or at that point you just
No, at that
decimated
point
the
you
coffee?
basically
Destroyed
over-roasted
it.
the
I was gonna
coffee.
say
yeah.
the achieved
Yeah.
coffee could be that third crack. It's terrible, but it's the third crack.
How long? Because I know, like, my mom puts coffee in the freezer
Yeah.
to keep it quote unquote fresh. I
Yep.
don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, or just a.
You can do that. You can vacuum seal it. You can,
Yeah.
but really, coffee should best be enjoyed from roast, usually 24 hours to, I say, about 21 days.
Okay.
That's where coffee's gonna be in its max peak flavor.
How many cups of coffee a day do you have?
It depends on the day. Try to keep it to like 4 cups a day. They had that new study that came out. Apparently, up to 25 cups of coffee you can ingest and it's totally normal.
25 in a
And
day.
healthy.
So that might be something to do on your
That's when
achieve.
you. That's where you hit immortality.
that's
I
where
have
your heart
a between the
explodes.
games for us.
Okay.
Who
25
can drink 25
cups
cups of coffee first, and what
Whose
would
heart
happen?
can survive 25 cups of coffee?
It's like that episode of Futurama where he just keeps
I
knocking
bet,
back.
I bet I could drink 25 cups of coffee and I wouldn't feel any different.
I would be wild, and then I would crash hard.
So hard.
Yeah. So yeah, we're almost finishing up this roast, and then
Whoa!
Booting up.
finishing. Yep, it's shooting out,
Powering up.
shooting out the remaining of the chaff.
We
We're
gonna take off.
We finished cooking, so now it's cooling it down.
Oh,
So that's the
back
air,
down to
cool
room temperature.
air.
Yeah, we're bringing it back down to room
Gotcha.
temperature.
Is it a hard thing to do once again, without getting too deep into the weeds with your proprietary practices, but
Yeah.
to find and source coffee beans? So I'm assuming you're looking around the world.
We are. We actually are now working for the first time. We actually have farmers that we are buying direct from. We have a guy down in Nicaragua, a guy down in Honduras who are basically growing coffee, and we're getting it directly from their farms.
Really?
That's great.
So-
Fredo, you can eat that now.
You can actually eat this.
Probably.
This is chaff. It's gonna literally taste like kind of like
I ate
toasted grass.
every other process of it.
And there is, I think, a sneaky little bean in there right here.
That tastes
well,
better than a green coffee bean.
Right. Yeah. So this has like kind of like it's got that
Going in for
toasty
seconds?
flavor to it.
I can actually feel, I can taste a little bit of, like, it's reminiscent of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that the smell coming out of
Now
this.
I'm gonna let you do the magic. You
Oh,
gotta
sure.
Hold down this button until
Okay.
all the coffee comes out.
Oh, it comes
Yep.
down into here?
Yep.
All right.
So now we're gonna extract it from the roaster.
Whoa.
There we go.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Wow. That
So
was
now this is your.
that was too exciting. That was like adrenaline rush of like,
Yeah.
ooh, I like that sound.
Yeah, this is your fresh roasted coffee.
Ooh.
So we just made that happen.
It's so funny how much in American, the modern American lifestyle, you take things for granted. Like, this is just, I've been drinking this every day
Yep.
for my entire life.
I have,
I'm so ignorant of the process involved
yeah.
and the artistry involved.
This is gonna ruin coffee for me in the best way.
Yeah.
And
Like,
for
that's literally what we're trying to do. It's like
I
we
can
have
already
people
tell.
people who try
I
our
do wanna
coffee.
sneak one of these beans
Yeah,
out.
It's good.
It's always good to taste it right after roast.
Can you tell based off one bean, like, you're like, oh, I did something wrong in this?
Yes.
wow.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was 5 minutes too long.
Yeah, I should have gone a little bit longer on that. So now when we talked to you guys, you were saying, you're looking for something, cocoa-y, spicy, a little bit of bold, something that you could either drink on its own or will hold up with milk. So what we did for you guys is we did two different origins. We have Java and Brazil. And these two regions work very nice together.
Okay.
Java it has spicy kind of like toasted notes to it. And then we combined it with a Brazil that we have, which is a really awesome bean. It has cocoa notes, has a little bit of hints of fruit, not crazy fruit. When you kind of mix the two together, you get this really cool smooth cup of coffee. And then now we're actually going to brew it. So what we're going to do, this is how you do a pour over.
Okay.
If you do want to start making your coffee this way at home, this is the way you do it.
I've heard of these.
Well, I look at like the Chemex setup at every coffee shop I go to in
Yep.
town, because they all sell them, and it just
Right.
it seems so
It seems intimidating.
intimidating.
Yeah.
Would be the way to put
Yep.
it. It's, yeah.
But once you get the hang of it, it's really not that hard to do. You just boil water. We actually don't boil. We take it to about 200 degrees. Water boils at 212. If you put boiling water over your coffee, you're going to scorch it, and you're going to kind of bring out a bitterness that it's like a not desirable taste. So we grind our coffee, put it in the filter, and then so it's 36 grams of coffee going in. And then we're going to basically do a 16-to-1 ratio.
More B-roll.
Science.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. We have blogs. It's really easy to do once you've done it and like you get comfortable doing it. So we weigh it out. We weigh everything out to the gram. This way, it's exact. Every time you make the coffee, it's going to taste the same. First stage is called a bloom. We're going to do this in like 3 stages.
Okay.
So we're pouring water directly over the grind.
And I imagine this is a pre-portioned out amount of water you already have.
Yes, we're doing about 100 grams over the grind, and we're going to let that sit for about 20 to 30 seconds. And at this point, you can see it's starting to bubble up.
Yeah.
The gases are going to kind of start to release. If you want to get in there and smell like that's like
It's a good smell. I like that smell.
It's a good smell.
This is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I'll get some of the bubbling action here.
So this is called the bloom.
Okay.
And the bloom is basically we're making sure that all those grinds got coated in water. And then now we're going to start to slowly, after 30 seconds, which our timer just hit, we're going to slowly add some water. So we're getting to 600 total grams of water.
Okay.
So I'm going to do 200 now. We're going to get up to like about 300 grams. And it's all by weight. It's on a little digital scale. It's nice and easy. And we're just pouring over the top, not in any spot. We're just kind of moving it around so we get an even dispersion of water and a nice extraction. That's basically, when you're brewing coffee, that's what it's all about. It's all about the extraction. So now we have 300 grams. We don't want our grinds to get dry, so we're just gonna slowly keep adding water in. And this is why they call it the pour over, because that's literally what you're doing, is you are pouring over the grinds. So you are the coffee machine. You know, you're controlling it. You're watching your extraction. All right, so let's get those mugs over here. So now we're at the point where preheat these mugs a little bit.
Oh, good idea.
This way we don't shock our coffee again. It's all about chemical reactions.
I didn't ever realize how delicate.
little pieces to it. I mean,
all
like,
the
it makes
temperature.
sense.
Right.
I just never thought about
Right.
that.
It's once you get it down, it's really not that hard. It can be a little intimidating, but it's really, don't overthink it too much.
Is it kind of like the way it used to be with tattoo culture, where like if you walked into a restaurant or a bar and there was a person with tattoos, you're like, I don't know that person, but I know that we're
right.
Like,
At least we have a common.
Yeah, we're simpatico in some way.
Yeah,
like you're never a stranger
Right.
as long as you're around a coffee shop, because you can walk in and talk shop.
That is quite good.
It's just
smooth.
it's smooth.
It's very
Yeah.
smooth.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no like hard acrid bite you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like we were saying before. I just never knew how delicate coffee was to temperature, both hot and cold. Whether it be the 200 degrees versus boiling 212 degrees,
Or just the mug that you're pouring it in.
right,
Like,
preheating the vessel,
Right.
putting it over ice,
Yeah.
roasting your beans to a certain temperature, and then backing off, making sure it's cooled. I never realized, and it makes sense. All the chemistry involved is very particular.
makes sense.
You
It's a
take
science.
you have like 3 sips of this and you already think about like every K-cup you've wasted your life on.
when I first started drinking coffee, it was like mostly sugar. And then for the past like 2 years, it's like a little bit of milk, and that's it. Usually
Yeah.
not even sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried coffee black again like 2 weeks ago because Jeff was talking about how he does his
Yeah.
black, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no joke, I can do this.
I've been like
That's wild.
My most recent cups of coffee have all been black because I've been preparing for this moment.
Yeah.
And it's unnecessary
Yeah.
because it's so smooth.
So when you taste coffee, the lighter the roast, the more acidic, the more fruity, the brighter the flavors. The darker the roast, you're going to bring out more of those caramels, the cocos, the darker chocolate type of notes. So when you blend the two together, you kind of get the best of both worlds, and you get this really homogeneous, like really smooth cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Turns out that's actually like one of the oldest tricks in the book of coffee roasting. So here I am thinking I'm this like genius of like,
Cracked the code.
I've cracked the code of coffee. And I'm talking to one of my mentors he's been in the game for like 40 years. And he goes, actually, that's called a melange. And I was like, oh, I'm like, yeah, we do a 2-step roast process on it. And he's like, oh, so you melange? I'm like, so here I am thinking I'm a genius.
I'm
but-
brilliant. I invented a thing
I figured it out.
that was invented 400 years ago.
Exactly. It was like,
Imagine
so,
just busting the office door down in a lab coat.
Yeah.
And all his paperwork's fine.
Everyone, here we go, guys!
Stop! What are you doing?
It's so funny, the similarities. What we do and what you do are dramatically different, obviously. But so funny the similarities and how these companies come together. Like for Rooster Teeth, we started the company with this cartoon called Red versus Blue that was using a process called machinima that we invented, and we were very proud of. And we didn't have a name for it or anything. And then we get a call from a guy who's like, "Yeah, stop telling people in interviews you invented this. People have been doing it for like 15 years. It's called machinima. There's an academy of it. You guys sound like idiots." And we're like, "Oh, yeah, I guess we're not." Yeah.
I
But
just
like-
wanted to smell it.
Now, if you want, so I do have little tasting spoons. So if you want, you could actually take a spoon and give it a slurp. Like just kind of like,
I want to do
To
that.
like aerate it.
yeah, aerate it
Oh,
on
yeah,
your
let's get-
palate.
go for it.
Yeah,
Let's get it in
give it a
there.
little slurp in action.
Because another thing I realize I do with coffee is like I'll sip and I'll wait and
Yeah.
I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
And so my favorite part about this is that it also has a good lingering
Yes.
flavor that sits on your tongue between. Because
Most
I'm a
definitely.
fan of that like dark
Yeah.
chocolate kind of flavor. Here we go. Where are you at with
You
that
can even
sip?
go a little more
Here we
like
go, here we
aggressive.
go.
Give it like a. There you go.
It definitely changes it.
It changes it.
It's
It's totally different.
I did it so hard it like mystified in my mouth.
and that's what you're trying to do is you kind of want to spray
Aerate
it
it?
across your palate, aerate it.
Yeah.
I like it better with the spoon.
I'm gonna start having my coffee with a spoon now.
Just
Let us spoon on my
Just
coffee.
we're just in there for 5 hours.
We're just in the office all day slurping your coffee with a spoon. I swear to God.
It's gonna happen.
It tastes very different when you do it that way.
It's crazy,
It's really
right?
interesting. How long does coffee keep in its green form before you need to?
it will pretty much stay as long as it's in a temperature controlled environment. It could stay pretty much for up to, they say like 3 years.
Oh, boy.
In green state. As soon as you roast it, that's when the time starts.
Your timer
It's-
starts, yeah.
your countdown has started.
But it's not like a wine where like 3 years from now the green bean will be more seasoned and taste better than.
Yeah.
So
it's aged.
Like it's
Like
a
fine wine.
it's a 2004.
Yeah.
actually, yes.
Really?
So there's another fun thing that we started doing is we started aging green coffee in bourbon barrels and rum barrels.
Oh shit.
So
Picks up some of that flavor.
Yes.
Seeps in.
Jeff's jaw
damn
dropped.
So
Damn it.
green coffee is porous, so it will absorb any flavor. So if you want to infuse your green coffee with flavor, you can.
Yeah.
So what we did is we got our hands on some Heaven Hill Distillery
green bean.
bourbon barrels. We did that over the winter, and then just recently, I brought some bags for you guys. We got Appleton Estate rum barrels, and we aged a Costa Rica coffee in there, and it's phenomenal.
I don't drink anymore. I've
Yeah.
been sober for a while, but I miss the taste of whiskey
Yeah.
and really good scotch. That might be a way to.
That might be a way to-
That might be a way to. Yeah.
So I have a friend he's straight edge, and he's like, I'm not gonna try it. He's like, all right, I'll try it. He's like, well, you're cooking it off, right? I'm like, yeah, we roast it. I'm
Yeah.
like, all the
So it's
alcohol's
0%
cooked out.
You
just get the
and then we're
flavors.
brewing it. So yeah, I'm like, you're basically cooking the alcohol out of it. You're just getting the aromas from those barrels. So we're
Sneaky.
yeah,
Jeff.
we got a couple. We're doing some
Loophole.
I'm just gonna drink this coffee for the rest of my life.
It makes me feel like, what was I doing with all those other cups of coffee?
I
Wasting
know.
time.
I feel like I was a coffee idiot until 30 minutes ago. Yeah. I can't thank you enough for
Yeah.
coming down and
This
taking
was
us
very
through the
educational.
process.
This was
It's
awesome.
it's one thing to have a conversation on the phone with you where we talk about our flavors that we
Right,
like,
yeah.
and you build
Yeah.
a profile for us, and then you send us a bag and we try it and we go, yeah, this is good, or
Yeah.
maybe not quite, I don't know, accurate enough or whatever, and try
Sure.
another one.
I mean, we'd
but this
ruin it.
is
Not bad enough. Or, you know,
yeah. I think having this conversation and like the little things, like you said, like I didn't even know coffee was a fruit. Like
I had no idea.
Yeah.
like that, like it makes you like it starts to like you're gonna probably go home tonight and you'll be googling different coffee regions and stuff.
I'll do the Chemex thing. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it looks intimidating.
Yeah.
But it's really not.
All right, well, keep an eye out. Wayne, thank you so much for educating us on coffee, letting us taste this. Keep an eye out. This is coming soon. We will put a link in the description when it's available, so you know if you're watching it in the future, you can go down there right now and get it.
KingsCoastCoffee.com. It will be for sale. The Achieve brand.
Achieve themed coffee.
themed
I
coffee,
I
yeah.
don't know.
The Achieve blend.
The Achieve taste.
Nice, smooth
Get it
Achieve
in
blend.
ya. Sip on in. That's it. That's
Sip on in.
Sip in. Do you guys eat your own coffee beans and ever brew that, like the
civet coffee?
civet coffee,
you do
but
like-
human,
Oh,
where
oh.
it
I don't
pipes
know.
through and then you brew it and then it has notes of
that
just
might violate
shit.
some health code laws.
Well, don't sell it.
Don't know if we can do that.
Jeff brewed coffee.
Well, it was a good interview and then
Yeah.
I soiled it.